A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Oh, faut que j'aille dans les options là.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Ok.
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it. My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
Oh putain, c'est...
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
J'étais sur un jeu où c'était super rapide et là j'arrive sur un truc, ça a 2 de tension quoi. Ouais, ça a 2 de tension. Tu peux pas courir et tout. Hein? Ah non. Le calme.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Super jolie boîte aux lettres. Super jolie.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral. In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Ouais, ouais,
No one had driven this way in a long time,
clairement.
but I saw a few hoof prints.
Ah putain, j'arrive pas à lire. Hein?
Ça va trop vite pour ton petit cerveau.
Bah ça parle en anglais, donc je suis pas un pro et en fait des trucs apparaissent mais quand t'es trop loin t'arrives pas à les lire. Donc je me rapproche et les trucs qui disparaissent quoi. Ça c'est relou.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
J'ai pas de lampe. Hein? Ah. J'ai pas de lampe torche.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Elle claque la baraque. Alors,
Dégueulasse.
non, c'est génial.
Bon, enfin, moi, ça va.
Ah non, j'ai pas
I asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond. She said it had killed her husband. I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me, even then. As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house. I heard something moving around in the garage.
Putain, on peut pas courir, c'est 2 de tension.
T'es sûr qu'il faut pas marcher un peu plus?
Non, je peux zoomer, mais... Non.
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent. As if they're about to say something, but never do.
Ouais, ouais. Je les vois pas, mais je les entends aussi. Il y a peu de chance. Hein. D'accord, je suis revenu là.
On entend bien.
Ah ouais.
Un journal sur par terre.
De quoi?
Il y avait encore un journal par terre.
Non, je l'ai vu, c'est un avis de recherche. Il y en a plusieurs dans le... Ouais, mais j'ai vu, il y en a plein, plein qui traînent. Je reviens à la maison de mon enfance, alors que mon frère a disparu depuis des années.
The house felt like it had always been here. Even the swing set was older than my mother. Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11. The power had been turned off the night we left.
Les textures, c'est pas ouf, hein. Quand tu zoomes sur les... Ouais, ouais, mais tu sais, c'est tout con, en plus, c'est les produits, là. Il y a des produits dans le garage, tu zoomes dessus, les affiches, elles sont toutes moches, hein. Bon, le jeu est beau, quand même. Hein.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
C'est marrant, ils sont partis en laissant tout en plan.
Or how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture. Nothing in the house looked abnormal.
Joli.
There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank. Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes. I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him. Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947. The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait. As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of. My grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin. Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara. Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left. Edie's father, Odin, built the original house. Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Okay. Ok, donc faut que j'aille dans le passage secret.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here, before my mom sealed the doors.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Yark.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back. My Halloween candy was all gone.
C'est la tristance ce jeu un peu.
Ouais, c'est pas très vénère, hein, c'est sûr.
Mais c'est triste.
J'en sais rien, je suis qu'au début là. Oui, il y a...
Il y a une maison, c'est vide, il y a une voix d'enfant.
Ouais, là c'est un souvenir là.
Oh, des toilettes.
I kept eating and eating.
C'est un souvenir là.
Ah.
Yark, qu'est-ce que c'est? Elle a bouffé le dentifrice, elle avait faim.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Oh, c'est bizarre ça. Y'a pas tout dans les chiottes que je peux manger? Un bon gros caca.
Un peu boire à l'eau des chiottes.
Bah oui, c'est la soif.
Salope.
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
Dégueulasse.
It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly,
Quoi?
I was a cat.
C'est chelou, non?
Pris du LSD, mais c'est un rêve.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Ok.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
C'est quoi ce délire?
Mais t'es un chat.
Je suis un chat.
T'as pris du LSD.
Non, mais
I
clairement.
gobbled her up.
T'es tombé.
I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind.
Normal. Normal.
Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits.
Des lapins. Allez, deux lapins.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
Ouais, ouais.
a mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
C'est un requin.
Ouais, ça va pas être très utile là. Ah, je peux. C'est marrant, je comprends pas. Pour l'instant, je comprends pas.
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
Ah, mais j'essaye, le contrôle il est chelou. Ouais, non, mais c'est inversé avec l'autre pad en fait. Tu vois? Toujours passer dans les trous.
Toujours dans le trou, à fond dans le trou, allez hop, orgasme. Ah là là, quelle équipe de merde. Justifié, j'ai
I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good. Grabbed on tight, but I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet. wanted to stop, but also I didn't. Passenger, I was still hungry. And to cross the water and smelt into new, something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer.
Putain, on voit rien.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have. This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
What?
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book. Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Ok.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Waouh, je suis sur une simulation de balançoire.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
Ah, ok, d'accord.
At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing. After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies. Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
C'est pas logique, bref.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Ah bah d'accord. C'est comme ça qu'on joue.
Ah. Alors que j'y allais au pif, hein, je tapais dedans. Hein?
Ils mettent toutes les billes dans les poches.
J'ai pas mis toutes les billes. J'en ai mis deux, je crois, tu vois. Tu vois.
Dans le sens.
Ouais.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman Killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Wesh, non.
Rattled and grew still.
C'est marrant. Je trouve ça marrant. Bon, il y a un truc pas logique quand même.
Rick?
Là, t'as le mec, il est descendu. Alors, en fait, il est descendu dans le sous-sol. Et pour ça, il faut qu'il ait la clé. Donc la clé, c'est une boîte à musique, tu tournes à fond et tu récupères la clé. Le gars est descendu dans le sous-sol. Donc il est descendu avec la clé. Normal. Et toi, en fait, pour descendre, il faut que tu tournes la boîte à musique et que tu ouvres la porte. Mais si le gars il est descendu, c'est que la porte elle est ouverte. T'as pas besoin. Bah non, il a pas remis la clé. Bah non, parce que la clé est avant la porte. Il a pas fermé et enfin c'est pas possible. Ça c'est pas logique, c'est dommage.
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late, late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there?
Walter, que se passe-t-il?
Okay, I'm coming up. But if this is a trick,
Ah,
you're dead,
bleh.
Walter.
Ok, c'est à moi.
Putain, bibliothèque. Quelle belle bibliothèque.
Oh, c'est pas la bibliothèque, ça. Tu vois, c'est ça. Là, t'as la boîte à musique, la clé, elle est dans la porte. Le mec, il est descendu, toi, tu le rejoins. T'as pas besoin d'ouvrir le truc, vu qu'il est déjà descendu.
C'est magique.
Ouais, c'est mal fait. Ça, c'est dommage. Ah, ça, c'est la porte de la bibliothèque. Je sais pas si tu peux rentrer dedans.
Quelle bibliothèque, là.
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges grow. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet. The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
Surprise, motherfucker.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Excellent.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Ok. Ils sont tous
I
morts.
guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Ah, donc je peux aller au sous-sol. Ah ouais, le truc fait pareil. C'est excellent. Hein? Comment si je peux le faire dès le début, je pense pas. Hein. Ouh, ça a changé. Je vais pouvoir faire une petite partie de billard.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Ah, tiens. Dragon du lac. La scie circulaire.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Putain, on voit rien.
I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
Le frigo.
It turned out she was hiding
Bah
a lot
tiens.
more than that.
Ok.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
Okay.
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just...
Oula, ouais.
Stopped.
2005. Wow, c'est quoi cette
Whatever
histoire?
that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can. I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Okay.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Ah oui, d'accord.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
Rien n'a
But if she
changé.
never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
Je crois qu'il y avait plus de courant. Ça c'est dommage, il y a des incohérences quand
I
même.
don't want to make the same
Pas énorme, mais
mistakes
bon.
she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Ok.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family.
Je vais aller me noyer, tiens. Ouais. Non, je peux pas. Ah, c'est le dragon là? Non, c'est une partie, c'est quoi? Ah, c'est un totem.
And the history you're a part of.
Attends, j'ai pas été tout voir. Quoi, salut, mais elle s'éteigne à mon passage?
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
Y a rien à voir par là.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
il y a quelque chose au bout du pont, là. C'est un peu risqué, ça.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Alors attends, faut que j'aille pas où, là. Bon.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery. I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Chacun son truc, quoi. Ok. Donc là, faut que je ressorte du cimetière.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Rien par là. Bah vas-y. Bah bon, il peut t'envoyer chier, hein, il est pas...
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Je suis dans mon truc là. Je peux pas marcher sur les vitres, hein, on va dire que c'est dangereux.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Sympa. Sam, 50-83.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
Ok, d'accord. Hein? Bah non, c'est pas un jeu où tu peux mourir.
What? It's too early, Dad.
Perfect.
Ah d'accord.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Ah oui, je peux prendre plein de photos,
You're
d'accord.
right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Aw.
Bon, on va faire des photos, hein. Ouais.
Nothing quite like being outside.
Hey!
Hey!
That's a keeper. Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Ok. Attends. Tire sur quoi? Tire sur quoi? Sur rien pour l'instant.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if
Oh,
you
no.
want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Now keep yourself squared up, elbows down, like we practiced. Whenever you're ready.
Ouch.
Great shot, Dawn! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Ouais, non, je crois qu'elle l'oublierait jamais, non.
Sorry, Dawn, just gotta reset the timer.
Ah zut.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Oh. Pardon, je devrais pas rigoler. Ils sont tous en train de crever. Toute la famille est morte en fait.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Ouais. Ah non, mais de toute façon, c'est linéaire. T'as pas 50 histoires. Tu suis si l'histoire elle est écrite déjà. Mais ils sont tous morts.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something. Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Putain, j'ai un numéro qui m'appelle depuis des semaines là. Un truc de démarchage sûrement. Je sais pas, j'ai pas vu. Ah. Oh, moi ça doit être un truc de démarchage. J'ai deux numéros qui m'appellent régulièrement, pratiquement tous les jours, ça me gonfle. Je réponds pas. Tu veux me contacter, tu me laisses un message et puis basta. Okay.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Ok, encore une histoire.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone?
Something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Mhm.
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Bien sûr. Yeehaw!
Watson's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie.
Ils ont laissé le bébé tout seul dans la baignoire. Ils sont malades.
Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
Ils sont tous drogués dans cette famille. Ouais, je peux aller. Ok.
You reminded me so much of Kevin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
Bien sûr. Non mais je sais pas ce qu'il mangeait, hein. C'est un truc pas clair. Hein. Ah oui non, c'est pas Shadow Warrior. Ah oui, c'est beaucoup plus reposant, c'est sûr. Ah, je peux. Oh putain, le bébé s'est noyé, non? Mais oui, ils sont tous morts.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy.
Mais non, mais laisser un bébé tout seul dans la baignoire, c'est ça que je trouve ça stupide. Il n'y a pas l'eau qui coule là.
I know you did everything you could.
Ah.
Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us.
Oh, what's that?
About the world he saw.
Ah ouais. Ils sont plus vite la baignoire. Mais la mère elle avait retiré le truc, donc il s'est parmi tout seul quand même.
There's so much I don't understand. About Gregory. About everything.
Ouais. Voilà, c'est un truc.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy.
Ouais, c'est le bébé qui se voit.
He'd want you to be happy too.
Comme jeu, hein, quand même.
Ouais, c'est ouais, un peu, ouais. Non mais tous. Ah non, mais c'est rien à voir. Ok, il m'en reste 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus. who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Là, ne nous tape pas jamais. Quoi, j'arrive pas à lire. Quoi?
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Je vais voir si elle est du côté quand même. Waouh!
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I
now
remember.
pronounce you husband and wife.
Okay.
May kiss the bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to
Come here.
But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Ça c'est de la famille.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Okay.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Gus Gus. Mark. Bah, c'est l'armée. Hein. Ok.
My My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay. My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English.
Je dois peut-être descendre là plutôt, non?
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died.
Bon, je suis allé dehors. Je descendrai après.
Louis was born a year later.
J'hésite. Ah, j'hésite. Mais non. Oh. Vas-y, je vais descendre. Ah, mais je peux pas remonter. Ah bah si, ah je suis là. Ah d'accord. Ok.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
C'est bien grand cette maison.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Ah c'est... Je vais d'abord aller... Je peux pas rentrer là.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Non. Ok.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Je vais voir le message là. T'en penses quoi du jeu? Bah écoute, pour l'instant je découvre, mais j'aime beaucoup, je suis très curieux de connaître la suite.
I think Lewis blamed himself.
Attends, c'est écrit
After
des
he
fois,
graduated, he
ça,
just spent more and more
je sais pas
time in his room.
anglais.
Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Moi j'aime bien, bon c'est sûr que c'est pas un jeu d'action, c'est un jeu contemplatif limite, mais je suis très curieux de savoir comment ça va se passer. Quel est le dénouement de l'histoire en fait. Vraiment très curieux.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
Ah, j'aime beaucoup en tout cas. On pense que si s'il avait pas été gratuit PS Plus, il faisait partie des jeux que je voulais faire, donc je l'aurais acheté en promo, enfin bref. Donc là il est gratos, j'en profite. Et j'aime beaucoup l'ambiance.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
On dira rien. Ok. Je me spoil. Je me pas. Ouais, t'as bien raison. Amuse-toi bien. Clairement. Marie-Jeanne? Tu es là, Marie-Jeanne? Ah, on joue à quoi là, petit enfant? Wonderland Turbo.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Bon, moi, ce qui m'étonne quand même, c'est tous ces écrans plats, alors que...
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Ah. Le langage, je nomme le langage. Ah, t'es sur Far Cry. Down Finch.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
La joie.
He kept working at the cannery. But he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
Tu fais commencer à quoi? Et si on y mettait la main? Non. Ok. Faut que je fasse quoi là? Je vais mettre la tête. Faut que je fasse quoi?
Wander.
Ah, je peux déplacer ça? Bizarre. Ah, d'accord. Ah, et d'un côté, ok. Avec le... Ok. Ah, c'est pas facile de bouger les deux trucs.
I asked him to describe it.
J'ai demandé de le décrire.
He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about.
Je sais pas où je vais là dans le labyrinthe.
Bats.
Je vais aller faire un tour dans le labyrinthe. C'est pas facile de manipuler les deux là. Un peu du poisson. Oh, putain, c'est vraiment pas facile. Le truc qui va te trancher la main. Hein. Ah.
And toads. Things that have not names.
Alors, je peux m'occuper juste du labyrinthe, mais non.
It was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Ah, il essaie de faire le jeu à fond. Hein.
But he found something more.
Ah putain, c'est en 3D maintenant. Ok.
I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
Pas évident, pas évident. Ouais, je suis revenu en arrière. Ouais, à force de manipuler les deux, là, ça commence à... Le cerveau
Like
ne
a
comprend
whole
pas.
new Lewis. So I let him go on.
Ah, je suis obligé de faire ça pour lire l'histoire, en fait. Sinon, j'ai trop de poissons.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
Ah,
He told me
qu'est-ce
he'd
que...
made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
Ah, c'est
Built
ouf,
the
là,
city
c'est...
up slowly, brick by brick.
Ah, t'oublies un peu ce que tu fais en même temps que tu avances dans l'histoire. Ça va trancher, j'imagine.
Then he made musicians.
L'imaginaire prend le dessus sur la réalité.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band.
Ah, je peux pas y aller.
And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery.
Ah, c'est ouf.
But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him.
Allez.
That all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Oh, le clin d'œil à Mario.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Oh, ah oui, il faut que je me débarrasse du poisson.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Okay.
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a
Ah, une belle reine. Allez, hop.
handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for...
Ouais, sa propre quête. Bah, il est arc-en-ciel rayonnant, on va faire un truc
Radiant
Disney. Hein.
He followed the sound of her...
Lui, le son de sa guitare électrique.
electric sitar.
Sitar, pas guitare. Ah les gars. Oh putain, j'ai pas fait toutes les notes. Ah.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Oh, mais il a complètement perdu la raison là.
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Oui, il a complètement perdu les pédales.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
Ok, il est complètement perdu.
Someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Ok, je m'attendais à un truc un peu sanglant. Donc il était un peu perdu, les gars. Ça c'est mon casier.
Began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Lui, il est mort sale. Ça, j'en suis persuadé.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
J'imagine que je peux prendre le tapis pour monter là-haut. Yark. Vas-y.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Il a complètement pété un câble.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Complètement perdu.
Queen waited, holding his crown. was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
Oh, c'est pas vrai. Ah.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him. On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Okay.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance.
Ok, c'est le moment d'aller dans la bibliothèque.
Or that Edie had a key to it.
thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Histoire des Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
Ok, donc là on va sur l'île, là. C'est ça.
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You
Ah, ça
know,
sent la marée, hein.
I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Non, c'est pas dur, c'est trop droit. Ouais. Je peux même pas voir par terre. Je sais plus où je vais.
I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again.
Oh, la
Next
tristesse.
morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself.
Une naissance.
I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Haha. Ton fils. Excellent. Ah. Ok, bon, il manque pas grand chose. Ça c'est fait. Non, non, il est vraiment pas long. Mais franchement, il est mortel. De quel jeu tu parles? Faut que je refasse la séquence. Ça et ça. Oh bah c'est très bien ça. Ouais. Bah parce que avec Crystal on a été à l'hôtel l'autre jour, il y avait une piscine, je t'avais dit. Donc on en a profité. Hein? Ah oui, c'est pas les gamins qui ont fait le jeu. Hein. j'ai pas lancé la machine. J'ai pas lancé la machine. Bah non, j'attendais tes trucs, toi. On le fera demain. Il reste de la place, on fera ça demain. Ah si, je peux les zapper. Alors, l'option rejouer une scène est maintenant disponible. Sélectionnez Edith pour jouer. Pour
Dès le début.
Ok. Rejouer une scène. Bah ouais, ils sont il est super cool. Tu dois l'avoir à pas cher ou tu veux le faire sur la PS4 là? Ah tu as?
Non, je l'ai pas, mais je peux l'acheter.
Me l'achète pas, je l'ai là, je l'ai eu gratos. Mais non, t'es con. Hein? Bah oui, peut-être, mais si tu l'as pas gratos, tu joues là-dessus. Et franchement, il est cool, hein. Il fait vite. Il est vraiment chouette, hein. Alors, qu'est-ce qui me manque? La fin de tout, je l'ai. Examen approfondi. Ça, je l'ai, super chouette. De Molly. Ah bah voilà, Molly. Rejouer, oui. J'irai me raser après.
Ils sont pas bons de la bouche.
Je t'emmerde.
Quand tu joues, t'as la bouche ouverte.
C'est vrai?
Mais t'as tout le temps la bouche ouverte quand tu fais ta vie. Je te jure, quand tu joues. Quand tu dors aussi. C'est sûr. Moi, quand je joue, j'ai la bouche fermée. Voilà. Comme ça. J'ai remarqué. Et des fois, quand t'as une haleine du matin, ben, je la sens.
T'es sérieux? Oh la violence.
Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Bon alors, est-ce que je peux tracer ou pas? Non. Faut que je refasse toute la séquence là, jusqu'au serpent. Ouais.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Toujours pas?
I kept eating and eating.
Yark.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Il me manque 3 trophées, je refais les séquences pour avoir ces trophées qui me manquent.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat. I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Zut alors.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
C'est pas comme ça?
I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Oh, comparaison, c'est la dernière séquence en plus. Rabbit. Ah, je l'ai pas eu là.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
Le deuxième lapin. La lapine en fait.
A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Ok. Allez.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Parce qu'il est... Super, j'ai perdu.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good. I grabbed on tight. When I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I
Alors, la
opened
séquence
my
du
eyes,
serpent.
everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Ah.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
Oh, génial! Ah, tu sais, il y a des easter eggs Dishonored, quoi. Excellent. Ah, j'essaie de voir les paroles. Ah, putain, le... C'est génial. Je trouve ça mortel. Les petits easter eggs comme ça, c'est vraiment cool. Ok. Alors maintenant, rejouer une histoire, et c'est celle de Grégory. Rejouer. Ça y est, ça m'a mis ça dans la tête là. J'ai toujours pas fait le dernier, le standalone d'ailleurs. C'est un peu, c'est flouté tout ça.
Do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Alors, il faut que je fasse tomber toutes les lettres.
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Ah oui, d'accord. Là, les lettres qu'il y a sur la baignoire. Mais on laisse pas un gamin, un bébé tout seul dans sa baignoire. C'est un truc de dingue ça. Tu m'étonnes, il est mort. Oh, c'est juste de ça à faire. Bye bye, Grégory.
Gregory, it's time to... Hold on, sweetie.
Oh, une mère inconsciente.
Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
Voilà.
What his world was like.
Ok, donc c'était juste ça. Et il faut que je refasse l'histoire de... Attends, rejoins une histoire. Celle de... Calvin. Je crois que c'est ça. Ouais, c'est ça. Et c'est bon, j'aurai tout.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin.
Ah, on peut dire que ça me change
He never talked about him.
Du platine
I guess
de
my
Shadow
grandpa
Warrior.
didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Alors.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't.
Moi, c'est cool que ce jeu ait été Kratos PS Plus, ça m'évite de l'acheter.
Always wanted to fly.
Quoi qu'en même temps, ça fait un peu de sous, Dave. Tu me parles? Quoi?
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
Ouais, je l'ai vu, ouais, par là. Ok. Ouais, je sais pas.
I told him going around was
Rempli,
impossible.
c'est ça?
Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Ah ben, elle va mourir sur la barrière.
Ah, c'est pas tout à fait ça. Non, pas fallait.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up,
Ouais.
then maybe he'd still be here.
Ah ouais.
But I doubt it.
Il est excellent.
I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to
Non, il n'y a pas
remember
d'espoir dans
about my
celui-là.
brother.
Si, il y a un petit espoir à la fin. Mais bon.
That's the day he made up his mind for. And he did.
Il s'est envolé. C'est poétique.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the
Ah
exact
non,
same
c'est que
thing.
des enfants pratiquement. Bon, pas que, mais il y a beaucoup d'enfants. Voilà, c'est bon, j'ai terminé. Ouais, il y a une
After the
histoire.
funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's
C'est pas la maison,
half of the room.
enfin, c'est la famille. Quoi. Nouvelle partie, crédit, jouer. Bah, c'est bon, j'ai terminé. Ouais.
Tous les succès.
Ouais, bon, c'est un truc à la con, c'est super simple. Enfin, il n'y a aucune difficulté. Bon, bah, moi, je vais m'arrêter là. C'est déjà pas mal. Allez.
Kay.
J'ai 3 viewers. Truc de ouf, hein.
T'as eu 3 viewers là?
Ouais.
Mais ils te parlaient?
Bah non, ils me parlent pas si. Il y en a un qui me demandait en fait le jeu si.
Mais comment tu sais qu'ils te demandent?
Non, bah en fait, t'as une notif qui te dit. Il y en a un qui me demandait si le jeu était bien. J'ai eu. Franchement, ouais.
Tu vois ce que t'entends, ce qu'ils disent.
Non, je vois les jeux sur l'application.
Ah, faut avoir le téléphone à côté.
Bon, bah, les 3 viewers, bonne soirée, hein. Cassos.